Ride with me to Masao, one of the 86 barangays of historic Butuan City. In history, its old name was Masawa Island, almost the same tone of Limasawa Island of Leyte, that is both names fighting the history of where the first Mass was held in the Philippines on March 31, 1521. You heard it right. That is 500 years ago, this coming March 31, 2021. We have a saying in Butuan City: before there was Philippines, there was Butuan and Masao already. The history of the islands called the Philippines did not begin with the coming of Ferdinand Magellan in 1521, nor by the coming of the 10 Bornean datos who landed in Panay Island in the so-called Western Visayas. Rather, it started in Mindanao. Yes, to this day, Butuanons still argue that the first Mass in the Philippines happened in Butuan City and not in Limasawa. Though, the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, or NHCP, already ended the conflict by adopting the recommendation and unanimously agreed that the evidence and arguments presented by the pro-Butuan are not sufficient and convincing enough to warrant the repeal or reversal of the ruling on the case by the NHI, or the National Historical Institute. But for this video, let's go back to some of the evidences presented by the pro-Butuan of the claim, as the commemoration of the 500th year of the first Mass in the Philippines is 17 days away from today. The account on Magellan's voyage by a Venetian chronicler, Antonio Pigafetta, provided us many events, and rereading it with the considerations of some cross-references, it was clearly established that 1. The Spaniards arrived and landed in the island of Masao, Mindanao, having described with a great quantity of dogs, cats, pigs, fowls, and goats, rice, ginger, cocoas, figs, oranges, lemons, millet, wax, and gold mines. There were mountains, and on it, a good timbers and other forest products. It seems to sound not convincing indeed. Maybe these animals, these plant products, gold and timbers are present in Limasawa too. But how about this? The presence of the balanghay in the arrival of Magellan. The excavation of balanghay, in as mentioned in the Chronicle of Pigafetta, had been affirmed that there existed a long boat balanghay through the discovery of buried balanghays in Barangay Libertad near Masao, Butuan City, which has not been found in Limasawa. Surprise? Let us get into the text of Pigafetta, which says, "In the morning, we came to anchor at this island. We saw a small boat, which they call Buloto. 2 hours afterwards, we saw coming 2 long boats, which they call balanghay, full of men." Around 9 balanghay boats have been uncovered at the Butuan sites. Reports even said that the boat number 9, as assigned by the archaeologists who undertook the excavation of balanghay in Butuan, has been considered for now to be the largest boat. They even called it the mother boat, which measured to be more or less 25 meters long. Want more evidence? Listen to this. Masao and Butuan were ruled by a Manobo chieftains, Raha Siago and Raha Kalambu. In the notes of Pigafetta, he wrote, "The captain asked if he would be pleased that two of his people could go with him to the place where they lived, and the king granted, and Pigafetta with another one went. Then the king ordered to be brought a dish of pig's flesh and wine. We banqueted and afterwards supped with him, the king. This was a celebration of their friendship." Moreover, Pigafetta wrote, "I ate flesh on Good Friday, not being able to do otherwise. When the hour for supper had come, they brought two large china dishes, of which one was full of rice and the other of pig's flesh, with its broth. My companion enjoyed the food and drink so much that he got drunk." The Manobo man, to provide himself with meat, he goes to the forest or marshland with his hunting dog to hunt boar. This is according to Ikuben in 2002, page 39. King Siago and King Kalambu are Manobo kings, not of Waray descendants. Sonia M. Zaidi in 1999 wrote, "The Manobos of the Agusan Valley were the earliest settlers of Mindanao, whose descendants later spread out to Sulu and Holo," page 82. The food that was served to the guests explicitly identifies that the Masao and Butuan rulers were eating pig flesh or pork, and since during this time there was no proof of Christianity, it would be certain that the people in Masao and Butuan were believers but not of Islam. In the account of Pigafetta, he stated that on Thursday the 20th of March, having seen the night before fire upon an island, at the morning we came to anchor at this island. The fire could have been a bonfire to light the people's celebration. It could have been a rice harvest festival. Even today, amidst the rapid urbanization of Masao and Butuan, it is still observable that there are vast rice fields and the people are still engaged in planting rice, which is nowhere to find in the islet of Limasawa. How about the gold in the gold mines? The king of Zuluan, Butuan, and Calagan, Surigao have gold mines in their place, and the people possesses gold which they made for their adornment. There was no mention of gold in Limasawa, much more about gold mining activities in the island. But several times, Pigafetta got noticed about gold which the natives were wearing. Pigafetta described it beautifully, how the other king looked, putting emphasis on adornment. He wrote, "There came with us a brother of his, the king of another island." He was referring to King of Suluan and Calagan. But the question is, did Magellan actually visited Butuan? Or it was the king of Butuan and Calagan, Suluan and Calagan, who came to Leyte and met Magellan and his crew? The pro-Limasawa claimants argued that according to Pigafetta, Magellan met the Dato of Limasawa and another Dato, whom described himself called one of his brothers, namely the king of Butuan. This highlights the origin of the confusion. Magellan, in fact, never went to Butuan. He and his men celebrated the first Mass on the island of Limasawa together with the two datos, one from the island and another from Butuan, before proceeding to Cebu. Previous historians, in difference from Pigafetta's account, thought that Magellan went to Butuan and there held the first Mass on the basis of the explorers meeting with the island's king. In reality, Magellan's route never included Butuan as one of the destinations. From the eastern part of the Philippines, reaching the island of Bonon, Magellan proceeded to Limasawa and thereupon met two kings, namely the Dato of Limasawa and the Dato of Butuan. After celebrating the first Mass in the same island, the explorer and his men set out for Cebu in search for greater resources. As I end this video, let me ask you, did I shed light about the controversy, or added confusion. Anyway, I would like to invite you to visit Butuan, come to see Masao and Pinamangkulan, where the Buod promontory is located, which will be a subject for the next vlog. At the end, let me give credit to my references, especially the historical anthropology of Masao place of the first Mass based on Antonio Pigafita's account authored by Ecoben et al. Thank you, and also to Wikipedia and the other references for this video. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and see you on my next video.